Good morning, my front wall skids. Spurs fans, Tottenham fans. Are we living in an alternate reality where Brian May plays hymns for Christmas? I think we might be. Tottenham squad. What do we think of the Tottenham squad at the minute? Inconsistent. What do we think of Thomas Frank at the minute? Inconsistent. There's two inconsistencies put together. I think you've got to be a crackpot at the minute to not realise that something is wrong within Tottenham. Whether it be half the squad, that's their fault. Is it half the manager's fault? Or is it a third the manager, a third the Tottenham structure, a third the players? What percentage do you think, in the comments, who's to fault for what's going on at the minute? Feel free to put the fans in at a quarter, the squad a quarter, Thomas Frank a quarter, the structure a quarter, whatever. Tell me what you think in the comments, what's gone wrong with Tottenham. But if you look at the reality of the situation, what I was saying, you've got to be a crackpot to not realise that there's so much inconsistency in the actual football, the plan of the football, and the positioning of the footballs, even down to players taking it on their wrong foot. Errors leading to goals that shouldn't be there. I've watched the games 4 or 5 times now, each, right, to realise that there is something very strange with regards to the Tottenham way of playing under Thomas Frank. We were so used to being excited with Ange. We were so used to coming back with Conte and Mourinho. What can we say? We were so used to these styles of play, and then you get a new manager. At the same time, we've been through a lot more managers than a lot of other teams now, so our fan base is actually knowledgeable about a manager within the first couple of months. You can't take that away from them. Yeah, the reality of the situation is absolutely terrible at the minute. It's we're in dire straits, and we've got the transfer window coming up. I'm not expecting anything to happen in the transfer window, brilliantly, to be honest with you. I'm not expecting any miracle transfers in. And if we do, Christ almighty, I will cross my fingers. Yeah, you can get behind your team and you can support your team. But there is a but there, isn't there? But the reality of the situation is, if you look at the league mathematically at this stage, in December, this will be over 48, over 40 years now. I've never seen a squad like we've got at the minute with inconsistencies. One player plays well 1 week and he don't play well for 2 weeks. 1 week we've got this player playing there, and then we don't see him again for another 2 months on the pitch. We've got youngsters sitting on the bench who actually deserve 10 minutes, some of them. We've got low knees out, which are strange low knees out, considering that we could have used them. We could have used the likes of Mikey Moore and Vuskovic. And don't tell me that it's good for fucking Mikey Moore to be fucking loaned out. That's just a wanker's argument. He was good enough to play under Ange. He's good enough to fucking play up top for us, mate. Give him a few fucking games in there and get him used to it. He's going to take off, but no. Let's pretend like we all know something. All these wankers that tell you, oh, he needed to be loaned out. It'd make his game. Fuck off. You don't know nothing about football. You really don't know nothing about football. Vuskovic, stupid. Absolutely stupid to have him out on loan when all we've got is Kevin Danzo, Romero, and Mickey van der Ven. If you wanted to play a back 5 and change it up, just 4-4-2 it, like he done the other week, you couldn't you would have done a great thing by putting Vuskovic in that fucking squad, bruv. So I'm all these little pinpointing things, and then when you watch the games back, you see the substitutions that he's chucked on Thomas Frank. This isn't a put the team down or put Thomas Frank down, but they was panic substitutions, wasn't they? Come on, let's face it. You know what I mean? You just picked your best three on the bench and chucked them on, regardless of what positions you wanted to change. You was just hoping they could change the game for you. Well, Thomas, there's no magic stick that's going to say, put that player on, he's going to change the game for you. Don't happen like that. What happens is teamwork, passion, having a good strategic foresight to take on board and realise that when it ain't working, to change it straight away, not to keep waiting. We had that with Ange sometimes, and then he started changing it up. You know, he knew not to do these substitutions at 82 minutes. They don't never work, bruv. You know, if the first half ain't working, change it at half time. Totally change it at half time. I think a lot of Spurs fans would be happy with that. You know, at least they could see that something's changing on the pitch. Yeah, I'll get behind my team, support them like I always do. Get behind the manager, support him like I always do. But there is more questions to be asked than there is answers given with Tottenham Hotspur at the minute. We had the cash grab the other week with the old Sonny business, didn't we? Can't put bums on seats at the minute, so they've had to change all the ticketing round. Sod's law. As soon as they get cheaper tickets, I can't go because of family. Being a carer at the minute. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard getting over there. So armchair 2.0 again. That's no fun. It's no fun when you want to go out there and shout. I don't know what any positives we can take out of the games from what I've watched. They're not very positive games. So many Tottenham fans at the minute. If I go to my own family, so many of us are not. I put my top on 9 o'clock in the morning when we're playing, yeah. And all the rest of my family get excited for when we play. But then when the game's over, sometimes we just look at each other to say, what the fuck's going on there? You know, I've even had to stop texting my brother from another mother during the game because it's just like negative all the time. And I refuse to text him negative stuff. You know, he gets it from a few of his other pals when the game's on. I don't want to lay it on him. I'm talking to other people and they're so positive about it all, and I'm thinking, you can't be that cocksure with Thomas Frank. Because in the reality of the subject, he is a mid-table manager. I mean, who would you rather have? That's just a little talking point. We don't normally do these, but in the comments section, who would you rather have? The Chelsea manager or Thomas Frank? Would you have took an Arteta 6-year rebuild? Because we sort of had that with Pochettino and it didn't work. 500 days, no backing. That weren't on Levy. Trust me on that, mate. That was on Joe Lewis and Enoch, who still own us. Yeah? Getting rid of Levy, that was nothing. That was just the name to get rid of so they could stop singing Levy out. But what you're going to have soon is you're going to have hashtag Enoch out, hashtag Lewis out. If it ain't already there now on X, you know. It's like we're going in circles. It's a rigmarole. I've seen YouTubers going mad at other YouTubers, and the reality of it, there's no point in arguing with each other anymore because it's just one continuous circle of arguing and arguing and arguing. I'm right, support the team or fuck off. I'm right, support the team or fuck off. I'm right, support the... It's just going around in circles. You can't You can't preach to people who don't want to be preached to. You know, they're the lost souls. They're the lost souls. We've been through how many years now? A football club where we were 100 and something years old, and all through that, all through from the 30s, the 1918s, the 1920s, up until present day, there's going to be lost souls you're going to lose along the way on the march. And that's just life. You really got to forget them. The Chris Cowlings, the last word at Spurs is the Special Brothers, you know, the Spurs chat shows, who's the geezer that sucks his teeth? Oh, he sucks his teeth like he's fucking had a bad bit of cuppa. Yeah, these are the people you got to forget, you know? They're just... otherwise, you will go around in circles. The hypocrisy of it all is they think they've got something different to say each year when it's the same. Yeah, so that's YouTube for you, isn't it? That's YouTube. I have been warning you about YouTube the whole length of my YouTube career. I've been trying to tell you that it's the formula-based thing what they're doing, you know. And then the old hippie, he mentioned it with the parasocial aspects of it. They're using the parasocial against you as viewers. And it's not nice. It's not nice being on YouTube where people get taken in. Unbeknownst, I'm not saying like even the cleverest people can get conned. Even the most Einstein, I could have conned Einstein, bruv. You know what I mean? So don't take it as a slight against anybody, you know. Look at me on YouTube. I actually thought some of them were quite nice people until someone told me in my ear, oh, that one's still talking about you. Oh, yeah, you've told someone that, and they've told it to this person. And half it ain't true. You know, half it categorically ain't true. The only bit that's true is that I called them all cunts. You know what I mean? And if you can't take that on the chin, well, you know what I mean? They ain't worth it, are they? But, yeah, nasty bastards, a lot of them. Anyway, you have a good day. Take care. Roll on Liverpool. I'm not even going to give you a rundown of that. I think that'd be a really, really, really hard game to play, Liverpool. They've got something to prove. We've got something to prove. In fact, it'd be one of those games where you look like that at the corners of your eyes. That's what it will be. And, yeah, it's no mean feat, that one. Have a good day. Take care. God bless. Good health. Have an happy Christmas. And remember, if you see that homeless guy sitting on that street corner on a cold floor, he probably could do with a cup of coffee and a sandwich. God bless.